Dial 650 in association with Tom Lucas Productions presents Radio Real Estate.
Our house in the middle of us.
And now, here are your hosts, Bill Macklem, Fern Northcutt, and Tom Lucas.
And good afternoon. Welcome to the Radio Real Estate Show. Special weekend. It's the Remembrance Day weekend, Billy.
It's an important weekend.
Very important. Yeah.
My dad was served in the Second World War.
Really?
Yeah, we have a video of him we recorded when he was on Delta TV.
Far out.
Yeah, so we tagged it into our website so people can have a look at it.
Nice stuff.
Yeah, did an interview of him.
Can I look?
Yeah.
Yeah? Where do I have to go to find that?
You would go to our website.
Okay.
Bill it's like hang sick here. It's not something I go to all the time.
Just go to your website, right?
Just go to my website.
Okay. And Fern, how are you?
I'm pretty good, Tom. Can't complain at all.
You're keeping awfully quiet today.
Hey, well, what can I say? It's election blues or congratulations, whichever side of the fence you're on.
I guess so. You know what? I was thinking of the good thing for Bill and myself, and maybe even you. We could go down into the States and apply for a new job as a bricklayer. Because apparently we're going to be building some big wall somewhere. That's what I hear.
I don't know if you'll work for those wages, though, Tom.
Why not? I work for them here, don't I?
Oh, this is true. This is true.
Just kidding. Bill Macklem, who is the president of Dominion Macklem Mortgages. He's also the Radio Real Estate resident mortgage expert on the program. He will be having the mortgage rate update in just a few minutes. And you're going to talk about something near and dear to our hearts this morning, Bill.
We're finding that a lot of our realtor friends, either with a listing or they're selling a property, they're finding that people who are approved by other brokers, for some reason, those deals are not getting done. And so they're coming back to us for a second opinion. And the only thing we can think of in that case, and I'll talk about it later.
Yeah, good. I'm looking forward to that. We're also going to get Fern's thoughts on the current real estate situation. What's on your mind, Fern?
So on my mind today is the psychology of a baby boomer move, buying and selling balance.
Our Radio Real Estate Home Man, Finn Jensen, talks about our affinity with motor vehicles.
Yeah, we've had this affinity with motor vehicles for a long time on the Radio Real Estate Show. We talk about real estate, as you know, so please go to our website, which is RadioRealEstateShow.ca, RadioRealEstateShow.ca. If you miss any of the programs, you can download one of our podcasts and listen to them again and again and again and again.
Wow. Monica Dina Briga, president of Mummy Maids, joins us, and today Monica shares some things we can do. Oh, man, I should know. I should read up on this one. I'm taking notes.
This in August there,
I'm recording this thing. I'm recording everything. I'm recording the news from Monica, how we can do what we can do to prevent the flu.
Without getting a shot in the arm.
Arm.
Yes, you get your shots where you get your shots. The Radio Real Estate News headlines are coming up. I'm going to be reading the headlines for the stories that made the headlines this past week. Bill and Fern will give us their expert opinions on the situation. Norm Holmes, who is vice president of Pioneer Acceptance West Corporation, is here today on the program. And he is actually going to talk to us about Pioneer West, who they are, and what they do.
Boy, that's good news.
Yeah.
Your mortgage question of the week is coming up in our next segment of the show. If you have a question for Bill, please leave it on our website, RadioRealEstateShow.ca.
And, of course, we're going to be speaking with Deb Buke at Dominion Lending Centers. This is all about bikes for kids, and that's near and dear to your heart, Bill.
It is. Last year, I think we almost met our target of 100 bikes to raise for the Bikes for Kids. This is an initiative done by the president, Gary Morris, of Dominion Lending Centers. So we'll let Deb talk about that a little bit in more detail.
Good. I'm looking forward to that.
Andrea Jock of Keller Williams Elite Realty is here today, and she's going to talk to us about what's happening in the Tri-Cities area.
And also, we're going to be chatting with the real estate sisters, Janice and Cynthia, the Real Estate Corner. They're going to talk about foreclosures today on the program. Right now, though, I hear a song coming our way.
Yeah. Time now for Fern Spots.
Going to take care of some business. Fern, what's up this morning?
What's up this morning? Okay, so I just want to talk a little bit about psychology of a baby boomer move. You know that if you're in your 20s and your 30s and you're buying real estate and you're kind of going quote quote up the ladder, and over your lifetime you might buy 5 or 6 homes, maybe 2, maybe 10. The whole idea is to build your equity. Then you suddenly become 65. Some people, when they become 65, will not have a pension, and some people will, depending on who your employer is. That it's probably a good idea that when you're 60 years old, look at where you're going to be in 5 years' time. Now, the thing with this as well, that a person has to sit down and really do some soul searching analyze what your lifestyle is going to be after you turn a certain age, let's say retirement age, whatever age you choose. So you have to analyze your lifestyle as in snowbirds, what your family needs are, whether you're going to be downsizing or right-sizing. Are your family going to be moving in with you? Which comes to the question of either when you're looking for a property, let's say you're in your mid-late 60s, and there's two ways to go about this. You go out on your search, and when you find that perfect property that you're going to live in until you go into the home, then you have your house to sell. Now, if you have a house that is going to sell very, very quickly, and we're going into a little bit leaner times with the amount of sales on the market, you can do one of two things. If you write up subject to the sale of your property and it doesn't sell, there'll be a 72-hour clause in the property that you're buying, and you can lose it if somebody else comes along, like a first-time buyer, and wants to buy it. The other alternative is to write an offer with no subject, which gives both Bill and I the heebie-jeebies, because if there is a market turn, then you're stuck with two properties. I was working with a client last week, and this was the exact dilemma that they were in. The fortunate part with these clients is that they have a property to sell, which will most appeal to baby boomers, and it's in an affordable price range for baby boomers as well. Now, would I advise these people to go ahead and write non-subject? No, I would not. But if you're going to do that, what you want to do is put a long completion date on it. And again, with all these rules and regulations that have come in with the government, nothing has really settled yet. We'll know a little bit more in the spring what's going on. The U.S. Election will settle things down too, or not. Tom's going to build that wall. But that you really have to soul search and really do your research. If you're a baby boomer, you can't afford to lose. You just can't afford to lose.
Sounds good. Now, Fern, if there are some baby boomers out there who are eagerly listening to what you have to say, is there a special number or website they can go to get in touch with you, or an email address?
Absolutely. Whichever you choose. You can call me on my cell, but if you're shy, text me at 604-790-9066, 604-790-9066. You can reach me on my email, fern@smart.com. That's Fern with an E at smartwith2ts.com.
And what I like about Fern is you text or email Fern, she gets back to you right away. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, you're very welcome.
She's a little quick.
I do my best.
Yeah, she's quick.
Very quick.
She's fast, yes. It's the Radio Real Estate Show on CL 650, Smooth and Easy. And right now, Bill Macklem is here. He is the president of the Mortgage Rate Update Fan Club.
Exactly. And the Mortgage Rate Update Club says rates are great.
Really?
So people are looking at the rates and starting to realize that even though the new regulations are causing some concern, there's still a huge demand for properties. And
Absolutely.
so they better be taking care of their interest rates. I had a client in yesterday, and we were looking at the comparison between a fixed and a variable. Fixed is 2.44, variable is 2.3. They said for the difference of that, I'll take the fixed. Thank you very much. And so they don't take any risk. They're looking forward, as Fern was saying, to the future. So for the next 5 years, they'll be safe. Cool. So our best rates, 2.44 on a 5-year fix, 2.3 on a variable.
Fantastic. Bill, now coming up in the next segment of the program, Bill will be answering your mortgage question of the week. And later, we'll be examining the Radio Real Estate News headlines. We'll talk about Pioneer West with the vice president of the company, Norm Holmes.
You're listening to Vancouver's original on-air open house, Radio Real Estate on CL 650.
CL 650.
We get letters. We get stacks and stacks of letters.
Well, we continue to get stacks and stacks of letters. Of course, it is getting a little bit harder and harder and harder for the Canadian letter carrier to bring those letters over that wall they're seem to be building. Fern, do you know something about that? What the heck's going on down there?
Oh, dear.
Just kidding. Fern, you have a question for Bill this morning.
Sure do. This week's question, Bill, comes from Ben Stingalong from Nanaimo. And Ben would like to know, if he doesn't have an entire down payment saved up in cash as a first-time buyer, are there other ways to get funding?
Thanks, Fern. That's a great question from Ben. There are a couple of different ways of getting there, but ultimately, you have to have the cash. So it's either a gift from mom and dad, gift from Uncle Tom, You're going to buy, you could buy an RSP like today, and that would be an RSP loan you would then have. Mm-hmm. That loan, when you apply for income tax in February, as long as you're not going to be buying before then, will then can be used as a deduction on your taxable income, and you might get a $2,000 to $10,000 refund, and that you can use that for your closing costs and part of your down payment. So that's a possibility. You have to have your RSPs in the system for 90 days before you can cash them in.
Okay.
Any down payment cannot be borrowed. You can't use your line of credit. You can't use any of those kind of tools. All you have to do is have to have money.
What about if somebody has to gift you the money? Can you do that?
You can have a gift from mom and dad, or that. They could have a gift. There's a gift letter from every lender.
Okay.
So they all have their own gift letters. You'd have to prove that mom and dad had the money sometimes, not every time, but sometimes, depending on the strength of the person that's applying. And then you would then have to show the money being put into your account. And it has to be accurate. So let's say mom and dad are going to give you a gift, and let's say it's $20,000 or $10,000 because you've already saved up some of your own money. And you mention to them that, well, there are some closing costs, and they say, okay, well, we'll give you another $2,500. So the check that goes in isn't $10,000; it's now $12,500. But the gift letter says $10,000. Doesn't work. Then you have to rewrite the gift letter to the $12,500 because everything has to match.
So it has to be covered.
It has to be covered and it has to match. If the people who are listening to the show haven't heard me very loud and clear, you have to make sure that all your ducks in a row, all the documentation has to be supplied. There are people who are so angry because of the invasiveness of the questions and the paper being required. And all we do is we just keep on saying, hey, look, you know what? Things have changed in the last 3 years, and you've got to be very sure that the information you're providing to me is accurate and I can prove it.
So if you're in doubt, call your local mortgage broker, right?
Absolutely.
Now, Fern, if somebody wants to get a hold of Bill,
even-
what should they do?
Even before you start looking at homes.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah. For expert mortgage information online, visit billymac.com. That's Billy with an I, not a Y, MAC.com, or call Bill at 604-684-HOME. That's 604-684-4663.
We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family.
Well, we are kind of family. I was an only child.
I can now understand that.
We know that, Tom.
But you know what? No, just a sec. No. But if I was going to say something nice. I was going to say, but if I had the opportunity to have a couple of sisters, I would have picked Janice and Cynthia for my sisters.
Aw, thanks.
Isn't that nice?
So
shucks.
nice.
Well, it's true.
Hang on a sec. I just go to the officer for a minute.
Oh, you go in the corner and cry. Nice ladies. They're my
A
sisters.
little tissue for Billy.
Hey, listen. Right now we're going to talk about pre-sales today, but before let's talk about pre-sales. But before we go there, let's talk just a wee bit about your company in case people haven't heard about the real estate corner.
Well, we're a real estate resource center for all things related to all the transactions and all of the types of information that you would have, any questions that you'd have on the purchase or sale or investment or upsizing or downsizing, anything to do with the real estate transaction. That's what we do here at the Real Estate Corner. That's our company, the Real Estate Corner. And our phone number is 604-842-0259. And myself, Janice Christie, and Cynthia Weberg, we are your real estate resource specialists.
Good to hear that. Now, Cynthia, I've got a question for you. We are going to talk about pre-sales today. Stupid question, but it's coming from Tom. What is a pre-sale?
Well, a pre-sale is actually a home that is available prior to construction, not ready to live in at the time of purchase. It usually takes about 2 years to complete the building, depending on the size. If you're working with a realtor, you usually can get the floor plans prior to the property going on sale. On sale day, if you find a layout you like, you need to put $5,000 to write the contract. You have 7 days right of rescission, which means to think about it. On day 7, you will have to put 10% down of the purchase price, and then 6 months later, another 10% of the purchase price for a total of 20% to hold the property until completion. The developer needs to apply for an occupancy permit from the city once completed. Once obtained, you can move in. A mortgage can be granted at that time. Prior to moving in, you will need to go through a deficiency report with the developer to look for problems that the builder needs to fix prior to you moving in.
Wow. So that's how long did you say that the pre-sale takes?
It can take up to 2 years or longer. I've just actually had one that's going into actually year 3, and they are actually able to extend within the contract to a clause. There's a clause in the contract that they can extend due to not having sufficient people to build the buildings, do the due diligence like that. So I'm on just about year three on a pre-sale. It's not common, Cressy, Bosa, those developers generally are finishing on time, but there's some of the smaller developers that are not completing on the exact time, and there is that little clause in there. I think in the instance when the market was really smoking hot, people, on this particular property that we're under contract with, they've already made $150,000 on this property, and it's not built.
Right.
So they're just sitting there, waiting their time, but it's actually impacting their mortgage and everything, actually, because they actually pre-qualified for the mortgage when they purchased it. Now their lifestyle has changed, and they've decided to go back to school, so now they're not working, and now they're sweating bullets over having to apply for a mortgage. So I haven't walked in those shoes to see what's going to happen on that end.
All right. Now, I understand how you realtors probably find pre-sales, but how does the average person out there find a pre-sale?
You can actually go onto the Urban Analytics, I believe it is, and there's developments in there. Usually you should be going through a realtor, though, because we have the access to the plans, because they give us the plans in advance. If we contact them and give us the plans in advance.
Gotcha.
But there is actually, I believe it's Urban Analytics. Is that correct, Janice?
You can go on, Urban Analytics, or you can go through. If you're most buyers just end up going through a presentation center. They drive by a new building, and or a presentation center, and sometimes a presentation center are not anywhere near where the development site's going to be. So sometimes it's just even in a shopping mall or something like that, and you walk through, and they go through and they look at the layout and the finishings, and they fall in love with it, and they put in an offer. But there's a few things that are like there's benefits and risks. There's some risks involved also in purchasing a pre-sale, but the major benefits, I think, are that a developer has to file in the purchase of a regular home. There's a property disclosure statement. Well, when you purchase a pre-sale, there is no property disclosure statement because there's no property yet. So there's a developer has to file a development disclosure statement. And in that development disclosure statement, that gives the developer the right to sell the property. So people are buying something, and they've got some legal documentation. And then some of the other benefits are that there's a warranty on a pre-sale. There's a 2 years on the finishing, 5-year on the exterior, and a 10-year warranty on the structure, plus a 1 year on the interior finishings, which you don't have if you're buying a resale home. The buyers get usually 7 days to complete their due diligence, and the buyers are always allowed to rent. There is no rental restriction on a new build. That's why developers love buying them. They buy them and they hold them. They rent them. They can rent them out as soon as they're completed, and everything is good. So you can always rent out a new build, which is an awesome benefit. And the price is always cheaper because, of course, when you're buying, it's a time value of money, et cetera. So if you're buying at today's dollar and you're not going to be able to complete it for 3 years, they don't hold your money, but your investment is appreciating. So between the time it's the time you put your deposit on and the time that it's finished. But there are a couple of risks that I would suggest that people need to look at when they're looking at a pre-sale, because people don't think about this and they don't read the legal contract. That's why that property disclosure statement, the development disclosure statement, is so important. Financing is on a pre-approval, so if you are pre-approved today for your purchase and the purchase doesn't get completed for 3 years, well, you could be on the hook and things could change significantly with your financing situations in those couple of years. Also, the developer is able to change the completion date. The developer also has the ability to change the size of a unit, so it can be quite different than what you see on your layout when you're going through the presentation center. And the project can be canceled if something goes on wrong with the development and the developer can't complete. Then the project could be canceled. Now, that's why it's important to read the developer's disclosure statement, because in there, the buyer who puts their deposit down will be able to get their deposit back if it's stated so in the development disclosure statement. And then the other thing is that if over the course of time, say you're buying your fridge today or your fridge in 2 months when you're developing, and and the fridge or the value of the fridges go up between the completion date and by the time the fridges get delivered, then the cost would be borne by the buyer. So the purchase price is going to be going up, of course.
I know for a fact though that the developer will have to, the property actually, when they cannot complete, go into receivership. There's been a few of them actually down in Vancouver where the properties go into receivership because there's too much legalities going on with people with the contracts and that are in place. But
usually the larger,
but it's in receivership is generally what it is.
Now, let me just jump in here, guys.
Thank you.
One of the things that I do as a mortgage broker is that when people are looking at new homes like this or projects, I tell them consistently that if they don't have a realtor to help them go through the project, whatever project that is, first off, they're not getting a better deal by not using the realtor. And secondly, you need to have an advocate to actually help you go through the process, because there are about 15 to 20 pages in this contract when they first get it going. Yeah, and you need someone to interpret it for you.
Yeah, right, of course.
And it's representation, too. You know that if you're buying directly, it's like buying directly from a seller, buying directly from the developer, that the salespeople there, they're working in the best interest of the developer, not of the buyer. So it's very, very important that if you're buying into a development or any kind of property, that you are represented by a buyer's agent.
Right, 100. And the other thing, too, is an inspection can be done on these new properties, too.
Yeah,
you know, they're not all built the way. So, you know, people think, well, okay, it's brand new. Why should I need an inspection? Everything's new. Well, we don't know the quality that, you know, I mean, most of the developers we do, the bigger ones, we know the quality of their work, but they can have problems too. So it's a second opinion on the property is not a bad idea.
There was one other point that I wanted to make, and we haven't talked about that yet, though. But the buyer who's buying a pre-sale's got to pay an extra 5% GST on a new build. Which is not the case in a resale. So that's just...
Well, no, but okay, but that 15% foreign tax, actually, there's a few properties out in Richmond, and they actually had foreign buyers on them, and the tax plus the GST and everything was like $600,000.
Well, so if I'm out walking around one Sunday, maybe heading over to Walmart looking for a quart of milk or something, and I happen to be working with Janice or Cynthia or Fern, and I go into a pre-sale, I should maybe tell them that I am working with a real estate agent, right?
Yeah, make sure.
100%. Yeah.
Good stuff. Now you're back with us next week.
A lot of times they ask you to fill out a registration form. And even right from the get-go, you can tell a developer that you're working with a realtor, but then economic times change. And I've had this happen as well, that when the actual contract was written up, I was not written up as representing the buyer.
Right.
Oh.
Wow. So make sure you tell them that you're working with Janice, or you're working with Cynthia, or you're working with Fern, or one of the real estate agents on this show. Ladies, thank you so much for taking time to chat with us this afternoon.
Thank you.
Can I just put one in thing? There's actually a really interesting thing. If you're interested in new art for your home like anything, art, paintings, sculpting, pottery, and stuff like that, there's actually check out the Eastside Cultural Crawl. You're able to go into the artisan studios and see what they're making and see what they sell. It's very cool. It goes from November 17th to 20th. So if you have any questions, Google the Real Estate Corner. Till next week, this is Cynthia and Janice from the Real Estate Corner. Been great chatting to you.
Hey, nice chatting to you. We'll talk to you next week. Enjoy your weekend, what's left of it. Thank you so much. And Fern, again, what's that address if somebody wants to get a hold of them?
To get in touch with Janice or Cynthia, email therealestatecorner@yahoo.com, therealestatecorner@yahoo.com.
Thank you so much. Now, coming up, we'll be chatting about the real estate headlines, the stories that made the news this past week. And we'll continue our series with Norm Holmes, the Vice President of Pioneer West. Today, we're looking at Pioneer West Acceptance, who they are, what they do, and how they can help you.
This is for Northcott and Remax Performance Realty with our mortgage expert, Bill Macklem, President of Dominion Macklem Mortgage, producer Dwayne Bishop, and Tom Lucas. You're listening to Radio Real Estate, Vancouver's original on-air open house on CL 650.
CL 650.
Well, anybody that knows anything about investing seems to smile whenever you play that song, eh, Billy?
Absolutely.
Maybe you're a rich man, too. Norm Holmes, who is the vice president of Pioneer West Acceptance Corporation, joins us now. He's at the other end of the telephone line. Norm, hello there. Tell us a little bit about you folks. What do you do over there?
Pioneer West is a mortgage company that helps people borrow and invest in mortgages in many ways that the banks don't offer.
I'm just wondering, Norm, why wouldn't I go to the bank, or why wouldn't I just go to a normal mortgage broker?
When it comes to borrowing, Pioneer West has many monoline companies that people can't access directly, and the banks won't go to them for them. So Pioneer West is able to shop a variety of different companies and get clients the mortgage that suits their needs.
Now, not only are you supplying mortgages to people, you're also offering people a way to make some money with mortgage investment certificates.
Pioneer West provides different types of mortgage investment options that the banks don't offer. One is pooled investments, our mix that we administer, and then also directly investing in mortgages.
So people can give you a call. You'd be happy to talk about that?
Absolutely.
What's your website?
PioneerWest.com.
PioneerWest.com.
This is Norm Holmes for Radio Real Estate.
For more information, call Norm at 604-987-1420. That's 604-987-1420. Or visit PioneerWest.com. That's PioneerWest.com.
And it's time right now for the Radio Real Estate News Headlines. Kind of feel like the old Pathé News Finder. Remember those things?
It's like front page challenge.
Gee, hey,
Remember that? Gordon Sinclair?
Who?
Gordon Sinclair.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm not
Front
that old.
page channel.
I don't remember that. Anyway, I'm going to read the headlines. Fern and Bill will give their expert advice. Well, actually, give us the way you feel about the situation. Could you guys do that for me this time?
Sure, why not?
Okay, here we go. First of all, we're going to start with you, Fern. Ontario. I don't know how much you love Ontario. It says Ontario will take a step to deal with the rising house prices, but it will not be following British Columbia's lead. In other words, they're not going to impose a tax on foreign buyers. The finance minister said something has to be done to help people deal with soaring home prices in Toronto, especially first-time home buyers who find it darn near impossible to save a big enough down payment to enter the marketplace. Wow.
Well, the first thing I have to say is that those are great steps. So why did the government of Canada, underneath Justin Trudeau, just change the lending rules for the first-time home buyers who are finding it nearly impossible to save a big enough down payment in the first place? So now they got to save up even more of a big enough down payment to qualify because they have what they call the stress test. So that's kind of like ludicrous. You got one side of the coin saying, oh, we want to help people buy homes. On the other side, you're saying, oh, yeah, well, we don't care about the young people. We're going to make sure that they can't afford to buy a property. That's my thoughts.
All right. So, Fern, what are you thinking about this?
No, I agree with Bill on that, too, that it's targeting, with this mortgage change, it's targeting the young people that are trying to be first-time buyers here. And what has happened, not only do they have to save more money, but it's the qualification, too, that they have to reevaluate the lifestyle. A lot of young people that could afford single-family homes 2 months ago now are having to look at townhomes because there's that price difference as well as the down payment. And this 15%, I'd be real interesting to know what the steps Ontario is going to take. This 15% is to discourage foreign ownership, but they have gone elsewhere, like Toronto, and they have the money to pay. That the upper echelons of who this is supposed to be targeting, it's not affecting them at all. It's just how I feel.
All right. Now, one local real estate company, which deals mostly with the high-end luxury properties, seem to have joined forces with a real estate organization who do business mostly with the Chinese folks.
That makes sense.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I mean, if you got the large, what they got, 3 billion people?
Mm-hmm.
So they've got a few bucks. They want to buy properties. Why wouldn't you align yourself with them? What do we do as a country? We send Justin Trudeau across the pond. We send our own minister, our prime minister, our premier across, Christy Clark. What are they doing? Well, they're trying to take advantage of the 3 billion people that live in China to come over here, bring their businesses, bring their lifestyle, bring their people. Why wouldn't you do that?
Are they buying those $200,000 and $300,000 homes, Fern?
No, two and 300,000. No, when you get up in the million plus, of course, 2 million plus. And and it's real interesting that they. Well, I rephrase the question here. Mostly deal with luxury properties. Have joined forces with a real estate organization. Why were they not joined forces before? Were they trying to do an island unto themselves? That was another program. That yes, absolutely, you join forces because we all have a common goal here.
All right, now this question is just for fun. What do you think of all those Americans out there who'll be pulling up stakes quitting their jobs, uprooting their families, selling their homes, and heading to the States because you know who was elected. I say it ain't going to happen. What do you think?
I'm just reading an article here from Ron Neal, who's one of my REMAX buddies over in Victoria, and he's saying the number of Americans that are coming up that are buying properties in Victoria because of the Trump mania.
Interesting.
No,
Are you seeing that?
That's interesting that he should say that. Huh, I haven't received his bulletin this week.
Yep.
The kind of what I'm looking at, first of all, that the Americans coming to live in the Lower Fraser Valley, they are subject to the 15% tax. On the island, they are not, but in the Lower Fraser Valley, they will. But you look at the American prices, let's say all down the West Coast, that the only place that really has similar prices to ours is San Francisco. And a lot of Americans coming to Canada won't be able to afford our prices.
Well, I'm afraid they're not going to be able to find my house with a wall built around it either.
Well, one of the things that you might want to think about as well is about all these prices and all these taxes that prevent foreign buyers is I was talking to a friend of mine whose family lives in Vienna, and they're saying that they're in Europe, they're having the same problems, but not with the Chinese, but more with the Russians. So this is happening worldwide. So you can't make yourself an island. You can't put a wall around Vancouver and say, we don't want anybody else coming in here. You can't do that.
Mass migration.
I was buying all that, Bill, until you said you had a friend in Russia, and I don't believe that at all. Fern, what's happening in the next segment of the program?
In our next segment, we'll be joined by Monica Dinabriga, president of Mommy Maids, who will chat with us about some eco-friendly ways to help your family keep away from the flu this year.
And we're also going to hear from Deb Duke, who is the Dominion Lending Center person. She's going to talk to Bill and myself and Fern and all of you folks about the annual Bikes for Kids program.
It's a great program. Great program. More real estate information is coming up on Vancouver's original on-air open house.
Hello there, it's Tom Lucas with Fern Northcott of Remax Performance Realty, Bill Macklin, president of Dominion Macklin Mortgages. Our producer is Dwayne Bishop, and you're listening to Radio Real Estate on CIL 650.
CIL 650.
The cleanup woman, 'cause she's tough. I mean, she really cleans up.
You know, she's getting down. She's getting way down. It's the cold and flu season, and Monica doesn't want you to get the cold or flu.
Well, I need as much help as I can get.
Well, okay, pay close attention, Bill. Right now, here is Monica Dinabriga. She is the founder and the president of Mommy Maids.
Prepare for the cold and flu season. Disinfecting your home is a very important part of your cleaning routine. Make sure you clean and sanitize all the areas that you use most often, but don't think of them when you're cleaning. It's not just toilets, sinks, and bathtubs that need sanitizing. What about the toothbrush holders, the garbage cans, the toilet bowl brush holders, and your plungers? These need sanitizing too. Then there's the less obvious ones like your phone. You use this all the time. Other people use it. Your light switches and plug-ins, your computers and remotes. There are commercial disinfectants you can use, such as Mr. Clean, Pine Sol, ammonia, bleaches. But for a more eco-friendly solution, use undiluted hydrogen peroxide or a solution of 50-50 vinegar and hot water with a drop of dish soap. Germs have a way of sticking around and are too willing to be passed around. Keep them at bay with these helpful hints. This is Monica Dinabriga for Radio Real Estate.
Mommy Maids can clean your castle with no hassle. Call Monica at 604-533-4959. That's 604-533-4959. Or visit mommymaids.com. That's mommymaids.com.
Yeah, very special time on the... Bill, leave the bike. Bill, leave the bell alone, Billy.
I like the bike.
Leave the bell alone, Bill. Oh, jeez. Deb, you didn't tell me Bill would be playing with the bells on the bicycle.
Well, you know, Billy, I mean, I try to get him to ride with a helmet too, but he just refuses.
I don't think they make them that big, do they? Deb, welcome to the program here with Dominion Lending Centers. We had a chance to talk on the morning show on CL 650 earlier this week, but we're glad you're back on the Radio Real Estate Show. We got a very special promotion going on. It's your third annual Bikes for Kids program. Tell us a bit about it, Deb.
Well, the program started in 2014, and Dominion Lending Centers, our owner, Gary Morris, decided that there hadn't, we're sponsors of the Christmas Wish Breakfast, and there hadn't been a lot of bikes coming in, so he thought it'd be a great thing to get some bikes for kids, for the underprivileged children. So in 2014, we launched it in Vancouver and had a goal of about 300 bikes. We ended up with 527. And, of course, everybody across the country, all of our franchise owners and brokers wanted to get involved, so we launched it in 2015.
in 6 cities. And then this year in 2016, our third year, we've added another city. So we have 7 cities across the country. And in Vancouver, it's at the Pan Pacific Hotel on December 13th. So that's Tuesday morning, December 13th. And our bike parade starts promptly at 7. The setup and the photos and everything are at 6 o'clock. So we have hundreds of bikes there that go to the Lower Mainland Christmas Bureau.
Now, Deb, do you need more boys' bikes or girls' bikes? What are you looking for?
We need bikes of all sizes. And all genders. We've got tons of bikes available through Walmart. They've set up a package for us with the bike, the helmet, and for the larger bikes, we've got locks. We also have runner's cycles, which is the little runner's bikes with no pedals for the little kids. So they're available online at bikesforkids.com, which is our website. There's bikes available to purchase on there. People can donate on there. People can drop off a brand new bike and helmet at any Dominion Lending Center's location across the country also, and we'll make sure that those bikes get to the events.
You know, Deb, when the bike comes in with the little training wheels on the back, Bill said I could have that one.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I need the training wheels.
Now, Dominion Sanders has made this so simple. I mean, it's really easy. You just go online. I'm not the most techie guy in the world. All you do is just go online, select the bikes you want, give them your Visa number, tell them either you pick it up or you want it sent off to them, and it's done.
So now, Deb, during the week you and I were talking, I think I asked you if this is just open to mortgage brokers.
No, it's open to anybody. So the public can go in there, they can purchase a bike, they can make a donation online. They can actually come to one of the events. They're welcome to show up at the event, bring a bike and a helmet with them. Or if they can't afford to purchase a bike, they can show up to the event and take part in our parade and just, help us get the bikes to the charity.
Let's say there's somebody out in the South Surrey area and they're going down 24th Avenue and they're going by Dominion Macklin Mortgages. Could they pop in and maybe make a donation if they wanted to?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They can make a donation of a bike and a helmet, or they can just donate cash, and we'll put that towards bikes.
Yeah, we've had a couple of people do that already.
Yeah, really, eh?
Yep, they come in. It's such a great thing. You should see the bikes. I don't know, Debbie, you've had it online, but I remember seeing the one picture last year where they had all the bikes in the warehouse. I mean, it's huge. I mean, I met the fellow that actually coordinates the bikes to be delivered. Mm-hmm. That's a full-time job.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. And, the Christmas Bureau, they even have trouble. AMJ Campbell Van Lines, which is our sponsor trucking company that drives the bikes around for us, they actually had to store bikes in one of their trailers because there just wasn't enough room in the Christmas Bureau warehouse for them all.
Or it's because all the firefighters were driving them like the mortgage brokers, right?
Yeah, exactly. Put some little red sirens on them and let them go.
So do you need big bikes, small bikes, in between bikes, all size bikes?
All sizes. Like I say, we've got available the little runners bikes. We've got 16-inch with training wheels, 18-inch with training wheels, 24-inch and 26-inch right up to for the older teens. And especially for them, it's great. They may never, ever receive a bike of their own, and just to be able to have that freedom, that independence, hop on their bike, go meet their friends at the park, drive, ride to school. It's just a great independence, especially for the older kids. Well,
Dominion Lending Centers is aiming to provide 2,500 bicycles for underprivileged Canadian children this holiday season, and I know you're going to succeed again this year.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, Deb, before you go, one more time, is there a website if people want to get some more information?
Website is bikesforkids.com.
Mm-hmm.
And on there, you can just click on the give tab, and it'll bring you into the bikes. You can purchase bikes, or you can donate cash.
Bikesforkids.com, right?
Absolutely, yep.
And I know we're not supposed to do this, but you want to double ride with me out of here? Deb and I are going to double ride.
I thought you were looking at me.
I get the handlebars.
Okay, she's got the handlebars. Here we go. Let's go, Deb. Here we go. Well, thank you so much. Here's what's coming up in the next segment of the Radio Real Estate Show.
Hi, it's Bill, and we'll be chatting about money.
You like to talk about money quite a lot, don't you?
Absolutely.
Money.
Absolutely.
You going to tell me how we can get some more?
Talk about how different people have better success at getting it than others.
Okay, that sounds good. And we're also going to find out about what's happening out there in the Tri-Cities this past weekend when we speak with Andrea Jock of Keller Williams Elite Realty.
This is Fern Northcott of Remax Performance Realty with Bill Macklem, president of Dominion Macklin Mortgage, producer Dwayne Bishop, and Tom Lucas. You're listening to Vancouver's original on-air open house on Radio Real Estate on CL 650.
CL 650 is a brand house. She's 90.
steady stack that's a fact. There ain't holding nothing back. She's a brick house. I was speaking with Andrea Jock earlier this weekend. She says, do you think you play a different song before I come on? And I said, sure. What would you like, Andrea? And she suggested Brick House. I don't understand that. Why are you looking at me like that?
I never heard the actual words before. No, I understand it.
See, you got to listen to the words of these songs. Oh, well.
Normally I'm in the car.
Even when you're in the car, you can listen to the words. We'll find out how things are going on in the Tri-Cities right now. Let's find out with Andrea Jock, the Brick House from Keller Williams Elite Realty. Brick House, what's going on? Hello there.
Good afternoon, Tom. Hi, everyone.
Are you trying to stay dry this weekend?
You know what? It would be nice to see the sun again soon.
I think those real estate deals are raining in the Tri-Cities. Am I wrong?
Well, we're definitely seeing more activity, that's for sure. Some prices have come down a little bit. We just reduced the price of our listing from 3.48 to 1.298, and we had a lot of activity today. So if you're thinking about buying, now is a great time. Buyers have a little more time to negotiate, take their time, make a decision. So it's a nicer time for buyers right now. This is Andrea Jock for Radio Real Estate.
So if you're buying and selling in the Tri-Cities, call Andrea Jock at 604-783-3124. That's 604-783-3124, or visit pinnaclegroupmarketing.com. That's pinnaclegroupmarketing.com.
See, there's a song for everything on this show.
No kidding.
That's one of your favorites, isn't it?
It is.
Billy, don't remember Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods?
A big pardon?
Who?
Stu Ferguson. He works here. He likes that song.
Who's Stu Ferguson?
He used to be Bo Donaldson at one time.
Oh.
Anyway, you wanted to talk about money today. What a great thing having money might be.
Well, you know, it's important when you're going through the process of getting approved, pre-approved, whatever you're doing before you make an offer on a house, you got to make sure that the people you're dealing with are the ones that are going to be able to get you where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is that mortgage brokers are no different than bankers and lawyers and electricians and plumbers. There's some that are good, there's some that are okay, and there's some that are great. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to find the ones that do the fair amount of volume, that can still give you personal service, and actually can get you approved based on the information you're providing. What happens a lot of times is that, and you know, it's sad because a new broker is entitled to make a living just like anybody else is. But because they're just new and they don't have a strong relationship with any particular bank, banks don't really know who they are just yet because they're still just getting going. That what happens is that if there's a tough deal or there's something that needs to be interpreted a little bit differently, if they don't have the power to do that, they can actually lose that deal. And it's been evident the last couple of weeks here that we've had a couple of our realtors, either listing or sellers, who have actually come to us and said, like, this fellow got turned down. Could you have a look at him to see whether you could do something different than what the current lender had done, whether it's a broker or a bank? And so I find that because we've been around a long time, this next year is my 30th year as a mortgage broker. We do a fair volume. We're probably ranked in the top 20 in Canada. So what happens is that because we've been around for a while, like sometimes age does have a privilege, and a privilege is that I know some of the guys and some of the gals that we've done mortgages with 20 years ago who are in a superior position that I could ask for a favor or for them to investigate a little bit differently. May still get turned down, but at least we have a different opportunity.
So, Fern, let's suppose you and I are doing business together. You're my real estate agent. I'm going to be purchasing a house, and I say to you, do you know any good realtors? What do you say to me?
Only one.
She laughed. Well, other than what's his face? Sure. Other than Bill, yeah.
Yeah.
You give me a choice, do you? Really?
Well, you know, the thing is that a good realtor works right in line with a good mortgage broker. And, you know, if we don't dovetail, then you waste an awful lot of time.
Makes a lot of sense. So so you're putting together basically a team, a good real estate agent, a good realtor, and a great mortgage broker, right?
You actually have more.
Absolutely, and it doesn't stop there. You know, it goes on to a good lawyer, a good inspector, all of this stuff where we can all work together and try and make it seamless. I mean, if you're going to have aggravation along the line, which a lot of times we do, and the realtor is the one that usually puts out fires all the way along the line, you've got to have that team working for you and know that they are working for you.
Yep, that's entirely correct. So what we're saying to people is that, you know, give us a call, get a second opinion. If you're not getting what you think you should get in terms of an approval, talk to us, because we've got the longevity as well as experience, and we're more than happy to help.
So, Fern, if somebody wants to get a hold of Bill, what should they do?
They can get in touch with Bill online by visiting billymac.com. That's Billy with an I, not a Y, MAC.com, or by calling Bill at 604-684-HOME. That's 604-684-4663.
In our next segment, we're going to hear from Radio Real Estate home handyman Finn Jensen, who says we seem to be mesmerized by motor vehicles.
You be a good boy, and we'll give you a ride home after the show, okay?
I appreciate that.
I certainly don't want you walking today. It's Tom Lucas with Fern Northcott of Remax Performance Realty, Bill Macklem, president of Dominion Macklem Mortgages. Our producer is Dwayne Bishop, and you're listening to Radio Real Estate on Smooth and Easy, CIL 650.
CIL 650.
I'm fixing a hole where the rain gets in and stops my mind from wandering. I'm filling the cracks that ran through the door and kept my mind from wandering.
Well, it is the weekend to be doing those odd jobs at home, right?
A bit of a long weekend.
Speaking about odd jobs and odd guys, here's Finn Jensen.
Good afternoon, Tom, and good afternoon, everyone. Anyone who has lived in the Vancouver area will have noticed our affinity for old motor vehicles of any nationality and design. Some are so popular that almost every model year is collected since production began. And right from the Okanagan to the coast and Vancouver Island, special examples of interesting cars live good long lives in comfortable garages. Some families have unusual collections going all the way back to great-great-grandpa's first cars, 1912 up to the 20s. One secret garage has 7 or 8 examples of perfectly maintained beauties, such as Stud Bearcat, Auburn, Studebaker, and Ford, along with even rarer examples, all of which have always been in that family. We seem to be a society that likes to collect things. It doesn't much matter what it is. Someone is assembling as many examples as possible. Apparently enough is never too much when something is loved. Some collect properties. They can't take them home, so they rent them out. Are the owners rich, so that's why they can afford all those properties? Or did they become rich off their properties? It's interesting. It's not a chicken before the egg type of question. They're buying cars and properties for fun and profit. This is Finn Jensen for Radio Real Estate. Talk to you next week.
Get ready for your winter heating needs now. Call Gentech Mechanical Installations at 778-378-2740. That's 778-378-2740.
You think it's been wet this week? You wait.
Ooh.
Winter's coming. Now, the realtors are out there. You're always looking for people that sometimes get lost. You're doing good work. And we had a situation this past week about a person missing in Cloverdale, I believe, but the realtors found this person.
Well, we haven't found her yet. This is from Cloverdale. We have a Realty Watch, which is a service that we give through the Real Estate Board and the RCMP. The gal that's gone missing, her name is Alexa Dudek, and she's been missing since 7:30 a.m. Monday. She's a 17-year-old female from the 17400 block of 61st B in Cloverdale. She's Caucasian, 5'5", tall, slim, long blonde hair, brown eyes, fair complexion, last seen wearing tie-dyed purple hoodie and jeans. So keep your eyes open for this young lady.
All right. Now,
home.
Fern, thank you so much for that. Now, other words, it's the time of year again when we start thinking about giving. It's the time of year again we start thinking about our fellow human being. And the realtors, again, have the usual annual blanket drive happening.
We certainly do. This is realtors in your community 12 months out of the year. And so we're running our annual blanket drive from November 14th to November 21st. If you have any extra blankets or you want to purchase some blankets, drop off at your local real estate office, and we will be handing those out to the needy. So that's our annual blanket drive.
Sounds good. Now, Fern, if somebody would like some more information about that or they just want to talk about real estate, how can they get a hold of you?
I can be reached by either cell or text. Text if you're shy, 604-790-9066, 604-790-9066, or my email, fern@smart.com. That's Fern with 2 E's. I'm confused. Fern with an E, smart with 2 T's.com.
You want to try that again?
You want me to do that again?
Could you?
Okay.
Sure. What is that?
FERNE
FERNE.
at SMARTT.com.
Gotcha.
Our house in the middle of our street.
And they said I wasn't smart enough to figure that one out on my own.
She spelled her name right, too.
Yeah, you spelled your name right, too. Nice job, Fern. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Always a pleasure.
You always do a great job. Thank you. Take the rest of the day off, like a real estate agent taking the day off. Are you kidding? And Bill, thank you for being here.
Great to be here, Tom.
Yeah.
Another great Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. We'll do it again next week?
Yeah, I think we'll do it next week. I think we'll have a lot of people listening in on their open house riding home show.
I'm thinking so, yeah. So enjoy the rest of the weekend. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock on Smooth and Easy CL 650. It's Tom Lucas. Thank you. Bye.